Hey, what's going on? This is Ali from Neighborhood Guys. I'm your host with the most, often imitated, never duplicated. I just want to thank you guys, first and foremost, from me to you, for tuning in to our new show, Neighborhood Guys.
What's going on? It's your host with the most, often imitated, never duplicated. This is your boy Trey Ali, and you know me from Neighborhood Guys. This is Neighborhood Guys. This ain't Sports Center. This ain't all the smoke. This ain't First Take. This is Neighborhood Guys. This is Memphis stuff coming straight to you live. So let me get into some of the things that I got in store for you guys. And y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all give me some of y'all ideas, and I'm here for it. Whenever you ready, I'm ready. First up, as you guys know, Damian Lillard has made a landing in Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we were very ready for this situation to come together and unfold itself. So, as we know, Dame wanted to go to Miami to play with Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets is a great player, but from depression of that situation not going his way, Jimmy Buckets has got the pimp named Slickback Perm going on, and he at the press conference with his eyebrow pierced and his lip ring. And I'm not one to talk because I got a lot of earrings and shit too. So I understand it, you know what I'm saying, the ability to be yourself and not be worried about being judged by anybody. But I also gotta be real about it. So I feel like it was something just to take the attention off of the situation that they never got to acquire Damian Lillard. So there you have it. That is one side to look at. The other side to look at that is in kind of floating around as he was going through the humiliation ritual, which is part of certain certain organizations for specific black people and culture to go through something that's humiliating to be initiated into that group. That may or may not be true. That's really not my business. That's neither here or there. That's just something that has came about in the topic of discussion. So let me give you some more facts. Jimmy had an amazing season last year. And if I was anybody in the league trying to leave a situation, he is definitely one of the top players I would have wanted to team up with and become a contender with. And with a talent like Damian Lillard's, who has range from anywhere on the court, who has the ability to blow by almost any defender, who is unguardable off the pick and roll, pick and pop situation, who is like a 10-time over 20-point scorer, 25-point scorer for his career. No offensive situation would be bad for him to go into as long as he has a supporting cast. And Miami has an ultimate supporting cast. Them like Boston, they also have a lot of guys that are there, even though they lost Gabe Vincent to the Lakers. They are still very able to put all of the pieces around that they may need for Damian Lillard to be the superstar of their team, and for Jimmy to roll into the role that he naturally feels comfortable with, which is cutting, slashing, distributing the ball, and getting plays going. And Damian would be the perfect one-two punch person for him to blossom both of their games off of that fell through. He goes to the Bucks. As we know, the Bucks. Now, if I am a player looking to get out of the situation, just like I said earlier, who better to play with than Giannis Antetokounmpo? Now, I love Jimmy Buckets. I mean, I love this guy. Minus the perm, minus the fingernail paint, I love this guy still. You get what I'm saying? But if I can choose between the two, I'm going to Giannis. Giannis is a little younger. Giannis is taller. Giannis is more unstoppable. And I mean, Giannis is the best player in the game. Like it's he might be 1B because I think Jokic is definitely number one at the moment, but Giannis ain't far from him. And if I had to pick between the two, I would have either one. So now Damian gets a chance to run the offense as he would. He also can come off the ball with Chris Middleton, kind of running the point forward position sometimes. They got a lot of nice pieces around them. I'm not going to get into those other guys. I'm going to start focused on Damian and Giannis. Giannis is a driver. He is a post scorer, paint scorer. He is somebody who's unstoppable off the dribble. That is also some of the things, qualities that Damian Lillard has and holds as well. Um, but Damian, he gonna open that floor for Giannis like the flood and Moses. Pardon the Red Sea. It's gonna be a lot of dunk highlights. It's gonna be a lot of posters. There's gonna be a lot of 1, 2 Euro stepping going on in Milwaukee when Giannis has that floor opened up like that by Damian Lillard, I mean, it's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be so nasty. We gonna see Sports Center top tens for them all the time. I don't know if y'all still watch Sports Center because ESPN kind of going left right now, but Sports Center was something that I grew up off of that I really took appreciation in back when I was a younger kid. So I mean, I still check in from time to time, but now social media and YouTube is kind of taking over the world when it comes to basketball and the NBA. You got people like with the likes of Stephen A. Smith and with the likes of Skip Bayless and those guys, Michael Irvin and also of course you can't forget Uncle Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp from the Denver Broncos. So they kind of touch on all the basketball stuff that we want to see, and they're gonna instantly jump into basketball highlights and key plays that they feel that they deem respectable and worth showing. Something that we kind of used to have to wait on with Sports Center. When we were with Sports Center, you kind of had to wait 30, 40 minutes. You never know when the basketball segment is going to pop up. They try to keep you engaged, so they throw hockey and football, and they throw in golf, and also they throw in tennis every now and then. They just kind of mix it up. You know what I'm saying? So let me get into some of my topics real quick that I kind of had pre-notion and pre-written down. So that's my thoughts on Bucks and the Bucks prediction. I expect them to be 1-2 seed. They was the 1 seed last year, if I'm not mistaken, in the Eastern Conference. If it wasn't them, it was Boston. Y'all can check up and look up the facts and let me know what you got and what you think, or if I'm wrong about anything. I don't mind being wrong sometimes, but I know they was in the top of the conference, and I really do believe pure heartedly that they were the number 1 seed, which didn't make a difference because they ended up losing and they didn't even get to the finals. And that's kind of how it goes sometimes. You can play amazing basketball and it don't always uh, transition well into the playoffs because the regular season is its own beast, and the playoffs is a whole different animal in the words of the famous Kobe Bryant. So I want to talk about Jordan Poole because recently it kind of came out, kind of got leaked from the organization. I don't know how factual it is, but this is the rumor. So I'm gonna give you the rumor. I'm here to give you the news, and I'm here to give you the rumors as well. So the rumor is Jordan Poole, Draymond going at it in practice. They bump heads. They get some words get thrown around. Jordan Poole ends up calling him an expensive backpack for Steph Curry. Now I know some of y'all might not really know what that means, but basically that's his way of saying he riding the coattail of the one great Steph Curry, second best point guard of all time. And he's not wrong. Draymond has definitely ridden the coattail of Steph Curry's greatness throughout these runs. Now, in Draymond's defense, Draymond has been a great defender. Draymond has been an exceptional teammate, an exceptional vocal coach on defense, and an exceptional hype man for that whole team. Every team that's great needs a guy like Draymond who is going to take some of that energy from the other team and turn it into a positive for their team. And Draymond's that guy. He's the pump it up beast. He's the talk you out of your shoes type of guy. He's the get you out of your game and make you make mistakes that you might not notice you making because you're getting out of character because this is his character. He's in a natural position. He's comfortable when he's getting in your face and causing issues, causing havoc, setting hard screens, doing some illegal things here and there. The Warriors are one of my favorite teams, and I never shy away from the fact that I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. So it's no bias for me. There's no favoritism. When I actually do my podcast, I just try to keep it real, keep it 100, and I give you fresh perspectives. Even though when I get into some of the situations with some of the guys that are closest to me about who's the greatest of all time, and I got my opinion, they got theirs. And that's what sports are about. It's about deriving an opinion from what you see in your perspective on the game, and then you amass and assemble an accumulative version of all of those opinions is where we get who's the GOAT. So everybody's got their own propaganda. Everybody has their own media push. Everybody got their sneakers. Everybody got their media team. Their people that really push forth the effort to make you believe in their players and their brand. So there's never any wrong answer, whether or not you like Kareem, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron. or maybe even if you think Shaq is the best player, or you think Tim Duncan is the best player, or you're from Milwaukee and you think Giannis is the best player of all time, or you think Jokic from Denver is one of the best players of all time. Some of where you're from comes into that play as well. When I make my decisions about who I think are the greatest and the best players of all time, I just completely look at their games, and I may take out accolades, I may add accolades, but my eye test is what makes me think that certain players are the best players of all time. So I'm not going to get into who I think is the best and who I think is not the best and all of that. I'm not going to get into that on this show. I'll say that from a different podcast. I'll try to kind of stay away from that whole uh, topic subject in general as far as diving deep into it because a lot of people, have different opinions. And I don't, this isn't for hate. And once I get to breaking down the facts, a lot of people think that that's hate. And you have a right to feel that way. We all have a right to our own opinions. We all have a right to think and feel how we want to. Even if I don't agree with you, it's still the case. So with Jordan Poole, basically, he called him an expensive backpack. Getting back to that, the expensive backpack for Steph Curry, and Steph Curry has had an amazing career, and so has Draymond. And both of them needed each other for success. But now that Steph has arrived, I don't feel like Steph any longer needs Draymond Green because I feel like now he's more of a distraction than he is a positive. That's just my personal opinion. That doesn't mean that I don't think he does great things on the court for his team, but in that situation, I would have kept Jordan Poole over Draymond in the first place, to be honest with you. Because anybody who's causing inner havoc with the team and being violent with teammates is it's time for him to go. This is the same as any job. If you go to a job and you throw a punch at a guy, both of y'all gonna get fired. Both of y'all gonna get fired because the other guy's definitely gonna retaliate. But in this particular situation, he calls him a backpack. Draymond knocks his lights out, with kind of a sucker punch, which is kind of showing you the type of guy that he is mentally. This is a younger guy. This is a smaller guy than him. Um, he's not from, some of the places Draymond is from, and Draymond talk a lot of shit. Excuse my language. And you got when you talk a lot of BS, you got to be able to take that when people challenge you and come back to you. It doesn't mean you got to be ready to fight, or it doesn't mean you need to sucker punch them. You need to be able to use your mind to verbally combat that, or you need to stay calm in the moment because you might make a mistake. So Jordan could have been seriously injured from that situation. Jordan could have been ended his career off this situation. He could have had an orbital fracture like Joel Embiid or some of these guys have had in the past from elbows and stuff like that. It's a lot different when you're getting punched in the face. Your facial structure, each person is different. And Jordan's not a really muscular guy. He's not a really strong, structured face guy. And he put him to sleep right real quick. But he had no business putting him in that situation in the first place. He's freedom of speech is out here, and I understand we're grown men, and sometimes you say stuff and you got to get checked for it. But if you feel like you're really being disrespected by somebody in a team atmosphere, and you on your job, whatever the situation may be, you jack that guy up. You jack him up. You don't punch him. Because the repercussions for punching somebody could be such a big thing. So they decided to keep both of those guys at the time, and I knew that was a mistake because I knew the wheels was gonna come off because you had a whole other situation with involving Draymond. It was similar to what happened with him and KD when he loses his cool. He does things that just are detrimental to the team, and conduct detrimental to the team is supposed to be punished immediately. He took himself away from the team and decided that that was a good idea. But I mean, I think they just gave him that freedom, but he was supposed to leave regardless. I didn't support that decision. I think he should have been shipped out on the next plane, next flight, whatever the case may be. You get to try it with somebody else. You get it together. When you make mistakes, we get punished for our mistakes, and that's how we learn. But when you don't punish people for their mistakes, you end up with them grabbing people's jerseys in the playoffs, like we did with Dylan Brooks, or him kicking the guy in the balls, like he did with LeBron, or these are the type of behaviors that come from uh, repetitively not being the type of person that you need to be when the time calls for it and not being called out on it by teammates in the organization. And that's not a good look for the Warriors. So my synopsis of that is pretty much I think Draymond will be gone in a couple years. I don't think he's going to retire as a Warrior, of course, as Steph will. I don't think Clay will be there pretty soon. I think they'll package maybe both of them up in a trade for somebody of immense talent to get Steph Curry over the hump because I really don't see them having the type of success that they had a couple years ago to get to the finals. Because everybody else is getting stronger and everybody else is getting younger. And now you got Damian Lillard, you got him with Giannis, and you got Devin Booker with KD. You got Luka and Kyrie. You got a lot of people who can get a lot of points up on the board. And points is what wins these games. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe Jordan getting shipped out to that team that he got sent to is the best thing for him because that situation kind of fell apart because the chemistry was off. And now he has a chance to get up as many shots as he wants to, and he has a chance. He has a green light. He has a chance to develop into the immense talent that he's able to be, the talent that we saw him to be the year before the situation. And I could easily see them bringing back Jordan Poole after they ship Draymond out because Draymond's definitely gonna get shipped out. I guarantee you, or they're gonna wait to the end of his contract and he won't be back after that. And when they bring back Jordan Poole, because that's my prediction, I think they're gonna bring him back definitely. Uh, he'll already be and got paid that money from another organization, and they can bring him back out as what he's worth and what his value is at that time. He might be better or worse, to be honest with you. He's an amazing basketball player, so I think he's only going to go up from here, to be honest. And this will give him a chance to polish his game and really, really come back in a strong headspace because he's just going to get older and more mentally so. All right, so Jordan dropped my favorite shoes over this past weekend, which are the Jordan 8s. And they came out in one of my favorite colorways, the red, black, and white. And these were some of my favorite shoes as a child. I just want to throw out some shoe drops every now and then so you guys can kind of stay up to date with what's going on. Because I know everybody out here buys Jordans, and we really hold Jordans in high regard, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? So I predicted the Bucks will be going to conference finals. I predicted the Lakers will be returning to the conference finals. I predicted the Denver Nuggets will be returning to the conference finals. And I also see the Boston Celtics returning to the conference finals. So, pretty much a repeat of what happened last year, and you just replace Miami with the Bucks. And from there, I feel like the finals is going to be a matchup between Boston and I feel like it's going to be a matchup between Boston and the Denver Nuggets, and that's the rematch. And I see the Denver Nuggets being the best team in the league again this year because they got all the right pieces. Jokic is clicking on all cylinders. He's just even kill. He never gets too low. He never gets too high. He does everything consistently every night. He plays the right way. He's great off a pick and roll. He's great off a pick and pop. He's unstoppable when he's dribbling the ball from the top of the key. I mean, he can find anybody and a whip it to a snap, and a snap of his fingers like he's a magician. He's like 7 foot Magic Johnson out there in his own way, and some of his passes are incredible. They're much better than any player in the league to me that passes the ball. The only people I can even compare him to are all of old that are already retired and Hall of Famers. Um, so I still see him continuing to be unstoppable, and him with the combination of Jamal Murray, if Jamal Murray can stay healthy, uh, just gives them an edge over a lot of guys that I don't see other teams able to beat. And they have one of the largest teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? All of their shooting guards and small forwards and power forwards are all around 6'9". Not to mention the fact that Jamal Murray's like 6'3", 6'4", and then you got Jokic at 7 foot. So they got a really big team, and then they got a really nice bench coming off the bench as well. I want to get to Drew Holiday. I really wanted to put this video out. I really wanted to put this video out. You hear me? Before they had a deal done for Drew Holiday. So Drew Holiday went to Portland. Everybody knew Portland wasn't going to keep Drew Holiday, so he was going to end up being signed and traded or packaged up in some type of deal. So I'm not going to give you the details on the deal, but I do know Drew Holiday went to Portland. So before I could drop the video, I was going to give you a prediction on where I thought Drew Holiday would go. But now I know for sure. Drew Holiday is now your newest member of the Boston Celtics. And I think that they did a great job of grabbing him because they lost Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart went to Memphis, which is where I'm from. So I think Marcus Smart is going to be great with us in Memphis. But Drew Holiday in Boston is like a Joker's card in the Spades game because now you got Jaylen Brown on the wing, amazing shooter, amazing ball handling when he's not falling apart in the playoffs. You got Jason Tatum on the opposite wing when he's not falling apart in the playoffs, even though we know them to be so much better than what they are have proven to be in the past. Drew Holiday gives them another consistent ball handler that's a pro's pro. He knows how to do everything well. He runs the offense well. He runs pick and rolls well. He runs pin downs and post pinches and post screens and everything. He runs all of that well. And not to mention, when you come off of him, he is shooting the ball at 39% from the 3-point line, which is just as good as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown put together. So when you add another guy like that, even though Marcus Smart was amazing at getting hot in some games, Drew Holiday can give you 20 points a night just the same. He's not as great of a defender as Marcus Smart is because the Marcus Smart coming off of a defensive player of the year award, but he's right up there with some of the best guard defenders in the league. Nobody plays defense anymore. It's only a handful of guys that really have their title as a defensive guard, especially at the point guard position. For you to be a great point guard defender, that makes a lot of things easier for your team because you score off of transition defense into transition offense. That's a point generator on its own, and he already averaged a lot of points because they put up a lot of threes, and he's going to add right into that. And Boston lost some guys, but I think they'll be just fine because they got Kristaps Porzingis now as well, and that's going to be nasty for a lot of people. I promise you. On to the Phoenix Suns. Aiden is out. Aiden got traded. Aiden got traded, man. I didn't see it coming. Well, I did definitely see it coming. I thought it was going to happen last year, but it kind of fell apart for them on a lot of things. So DeAndre Ayton has been traded to the Portland Trailblazers as well. So the Blazers got some pieces back. They got a lot of pieces back for Damian Lillard, and rightfully so. Damian Lillard's an amazing player. He's worth at least 3 or 4 players off top of the board instantly. Um, Devin Booker's gonna keep doing what he's been doing, being the new light skinned Kobe out there. He's definitely being that. He's living up to the mama mentality. His training with Kobe is paying off. His effort, his tenacity on both ends of the floor is showing well. He's an unstoppable scorer. He scores very easily, and I only see him getting better. But right now, he's definitely in his peak. He's in his prime, and he's going to continue to be in his prime for a few years to come. That is his team at Phoenix. KD plays off of him. Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. He's getting a little older. He's getting a little slower, but it ain't. It's one thing you can't stop, and that's that splash that he put on that ball. When he spin that ball and it goes up, it's going in. I promise you. You can't go over there and double Devin Booker. You can't go over there and double Devin Booker and think you're gonna have a winning chance when you're leaving Kevin Durant open. So both of them are gonna get a lot of isolation plays, and that translates into a lot of easy 20-point nights. It's really easy to get 20 points. You just got to get 10 buckets and some free throws. Close to 10 buckets and free throws, you got 20 points. If you get more than 10 bucks as a free throws, you got 30. And KD is one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen. So they'll be fine in Phoenix. I don't see them going to the championship because they got a lot of holes to fill. But they'll be in the playoff mix. They'll make it interesting, just like Luka and Kyrie gonna make it interesting. They usually make the playoffs. I think they kind of tried to tank on purpose last year to get in the Wemby sweepstakes. Wemby's in with the Spurs in San Antonio. He's doing a lot of work with building muscle mass, but I don't think he's going to be half as good as a lot of these guys think he's going to be. He's going to be a decent player. I just don't see him going above and beyond to reach his talent potential the way that a lot of guys think he's going to translate. Yeah, he's 7'5". Yeah, he has a decent jumper. He's got a decent handle. But the one thing that's different about the European game and the things that he's been through, he's playing with a lot of guys that ain't seasoned veterans. These guys, these NBA players are amazing these days, and they got some big bodies. And he's a skinny guy, and he's no KG. And I would love for him to prove me wrong, but I think he's just gonna be another slightly above average player when it comes down to it. I see a lot of guys scoring on him from what I see at his height. He gets some blocks here and there, but a lot of the smaller guys score on him very easy because he can't move the way that they tried to project him to be able to move. It's just not coming like that. He's not given he's not given defensive player of the year. He's not given that, and I don't see him scoring a lot of points either. But I do think his offense is going to improve over the years because a whole lot of great players with great potential, some just snaps in their head one day, and you see them scoring 30 all the time. You see them scoring 20 points all the time. So I think he will definitely be a 20-point scorer. I don't see him doing pretty much more than that. I don't see him being first team, second team all defense. But we'll see. Maybe third team. We'll see in time. Uh, Another topic I want to touch on: James Harden. James Harden, man, such a waste of awesome talent. He's a waste. He got the wrong mentality. He think he's owed everything, and he's not. And sometimes you got those spoiled kids, man, and they get paid, they make a lot of money, and they used to get in their way, and then one day when they're not in the position to get their way no more, their mindset really tears them apart, and I think that's what's happening with James. He's been on 3 or 4 teams in the last 3 or 4 years, and that's not a good look for a professional, and it's just not a good look for him. I really wish he still was the same James Harden from Houston, but when you get yourself out of shape, and a lot of my fellow teammates, a lot of my fellow athletes, they know this for a fact. When you get yourself out of shape, things it's not so easy to get back into shape. This isn't a movie. This is real life. So once he put on that weight and trying to force his way out of Houston, which was the stupidest thing I've ever seen with a lot of with athletes, but he's not the only athlete that I've seen do it. But he's the one that's most prominent in doing it because I've seen him force his way out of 3 situations now, back to back to back. He started with Houston. He went to Brooklyn and did the same thing, forced his way out, and now he's with Daryl Morey in Philadelphia 76ers, and he's once again forcing his way out. So I don't think he's ever going to learn his lesson. I think coaches give him too much leeway. I don't feel like he has the same talent that he used to have. He's still an amazing player. Um, but I just think his mental is broken. His mental focus is broken, and I don't see him being able to get it back. I really don't, unless he plays with a trash team like he did from before, so he can be the number one scorer again. He gives you spurts now and then, but he's getting older. He's not getting no younger. He's in his 30s now. He's been around the league. He's been in the league for a minute. So, I mean, he's had a long and a great run. And it kind of trips me out that people place him so high in the all-time shooting guards because he had a couple of good seasons. And when I say that, I try to give it context sometimes, and I try to put it in a perspective for myself because I know how great he was, right? And I know how great Tracy McGrady was, right? And I hold Tracy McGrady to a similar standard for being one of the greatest shooting guards of all time. But with James, it's like I've seen this guy fall apart a million times. I didn't see Tracy McGrady fall apart a million times. And when I put your mindset into the player and the talent that you have, it elevates you in the discussion, right? Which is neither here nor there, but it's just part of what I think as a whole. Um, Kyrie Irving signed a deal with Anta Antifa. I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you. Antifa. He signed a nice deal with them for I think $30 million. The shoes are decent. I want some. I definitely want some. And Maluka, they're gonna mean business this year. They're gonna be really hard to deal with and really hard to contend with. Um, as all great offensive players are. When you put two guys on the court who two people have to double, anytime you do that, it's going to be an amazing turnout for your team. So Kyrie is a player you got to double. Luka's a player you got to double, damn near triple. And a lot of guys are gonna be open. They got a lot of shooters out there that are able to capitalize off of their circumstances. So once they figure it out, if they can keep it together, minus the fact that they don't have no defense, they traded their defensive player that they did have, and Kyrie and Luka don't play no. I'm trying not to curse. Kyrie and Luka don't play no defense at all. So you got to deal with that as it is. Be that as it may. You know, you give some, you take some. You give some, you give it back. Whatever the case may be. I want to move on to John Morant. John Morant is a kid. He's not a grown adult. He hasn't had a lot of trials and tribulations that we know of from his past. Um, as an adult and being a young black man, there are things that we have to go through from time to time to grow us up, right? So we make our mistakes, but we're learning. We're constantly learning. We're constantly building something. And he's already built a great legacy already. You know, coming out of Murray State as the number two pick. You know, when everybody slept on him, nobody really was giving him a lot of credit before that. Until he got to Murray, he wasn't highly recruited. He wasn't coming into college expecting to be a top draft pick in the NBA. When he come out of college, nobody was expecting him to do 1 year or 2 years or whatever the case may be. Um, he shocked a lot of people. He turned a lot of heads. Took over that tournament, as we covered in some of the previous episodes of Neighborhood Gods. You know, and you got phenoms like that that just pop up out of nowhere because they put the work in, they put the time in, they put the training in, the effort, and the determination. And that's what you got in John Morant. So if you think he overcame all these hundreds of thousands of basketball players to make it to the league and be the number two pick and to live up to that prospectiveness that they thought that he was going to be a good addition to Memphis Grizzlies, do you think he overcame all that just to his career to die down because he flashed a gun on social media? I'm not saying it's okay. You know, he did the crime, he's getting the punishment. It's not even a crime, to be honest, because you can have your weapon, and there's guys posting their weapons on social media every day, all day long. And I understand he has an obligation to the kids in the community to be a certain public figure, and I expect him to do better in the future. But you can't crucify that man for doing something that he sees people do all day, every day. We are victims of social media. We are victims of osmosis. We are victims of learning those things subconsciously. So when you live a certain lifestyle and you hang around certain people, you see things all the time. You're gonna become part of them, and some of them are going to be part of you. He hangs out with a lot of rappers, and a lot of rappers have music about guns, and they show their guns a lot. And that's the kind of lifestyle he has been risen into because those hip hop artists and hip hop stars embrace him with open arms because they can relate to each other. You a young ball player making millions. I'm a young rap star making millions. I'm in the entourage of both of you guys, and we do this. Like we hang out, we have fun, we go to the club, we throw money, we throw ones. You know what I'm saying? We having a good time. We in our early 20s. That's what I'm trying to remind you guys. This guy is a kid, and as he grows up, some things will change to him. Some people have it together when they're younger, but some people don't. And so his basketball game is unquestionable. It is what it is. As far as his maturity on being the best player he can be off the court, you know, that's going to come with time. And that's part of the reason the Grizzlies brought in Derrick Rose. You know, they got Derrick Rose now. They got Marcus Smart now. They got some guys to fill that void in his mentality, and also they got some guys to fill that void for that 25 game suspension that he's going to have to serve out until mid January probably. So 25 games is going to put us in a position with a decent team. We got a lot of young talent. Still, we still got Brandon Clark. You know what I mean? We still got Jaren Jackson Jr. We still got Desmond Bain. Still got Steve Adams, Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose. We still got a lot of talent, man, and we're gonna just be fine. We're gonna be fine in the West. I mean, I hate that he embraced that villain role so much that he it kind of became his mo, and he made a lot of people dislike him at the time when he made those mistakes. Right before that, just by saying some arrogant things. But as an athlete, you gotta be confident in yourself. You don't always have to show it. You need to be full of humility. You live and you learn. They had the mic on. He was feeling himself because they've been playing good. He was feeling himself because he be feeling good, doing what he want to do. He got all the money he wanted to make. He got re-signed. You know what I'm saying? He got a huge contract. He got a lot of money now. He having a good time. He's a young kid, and he said we fine in the West, and a lot of people didn't like that because the Western Conference has a lot of things, a lot of big great teams over there, and they got their own fan groups, and everybody's not from Memphis. So I think you just got to learn that from being in the public eye, and that comes with time. It comes with practice. It comes with understanding. It comes with growth. It comes with getting older. So he'll get it together. But don't crucify him for the gun thing, man. I mean, he was in his car. He was doing what he wanted to do. Now with that whole red laser beam situation, we weren't there. We weren't there. But we saw those videos of him brandishing a weapon. If he was a kid on the street and he wasn't an NBA player, we wouldn't think nothing of it. We would just be like, oh, it's another dude doing what he want to do. But that's not the circumstances for him. So there is something wrong with it, but he's not breaking the laws. He's not breaking the laws. Um, the Lakers, you know, they didn't get Chris Paul. They didn't get Damian Lillard. I still think they're gonna make some moves. And even though I saw Austin Reeves kind of taking off with the Lakers, um, I'm not all too sure he's gonna be okay after what happened in the USA games. To be honest, a lot of people went at him, and he really got attacked in the World Championship. And if you would asked me beforehand, I would have been able to tell you. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. He's been getting too much hype. He's been getting too much praise. They've been riding him too hard. Um, you know what I mean when I say riding him, riding his too hard. Um, so somebody had to give him an earth check. You know what I'm saying? And you mix that with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's one of the best point guards in the league, and you mix that with Dylan Brooks, who's been kind of crucified in the media as well for no apparent reason, except for the fact that he has beef with LeBron. They'll crucify you for saying anything about LeBron in the first place. You gotta pick your battles wisely. But he had a lot of fuel going into that game, so he gave Austin Reeves 40. Taking Alexander killed the team, you know. And they got several other guys over there. They got, I think they had Dennis Schroeder as well. Schroeder's another guy with a lot of scrutiny on him. Got to prove that he has to play every day, every night. And they got to hand to him, man. They got to hand to him. So I think Austin Reeves is going to take a hit with his confidence off of that. But hopefully he doesn't, and it makes him stronger, and it makes him a better player for this upcoming season with the Los Angeles Lakers. Because LeBron's going to really need him. He's not getting any younger. LeBron's not getting any younger. Anthony Davis isn't getting any stronger with his workout regimen. He's still getting hurt all the time. I mean, this is a guy that I see get hurt 3 times a year. And unfortunately, it's just like that for some guys. I'm not judging him, but I had some of the greatest role models and idols, if you want to call them, that the sport could ever give me because they made me want to play hurt. They made me want to play injured. They made me want to give it my all, even when I had nothing left to give. I was willing to personally, I was willing to die out there on the court just because I'm so competitive. right? And those are what my role models put into my head from the NBA. Some of my favorite players, Mike, KG, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki. You know, some of these guys was willing to give it their all. Charles Barkley, and do whatever it took to win. And I really looked up to that in a lot of those guys. And Gary Payton, I'm leaving people off, but I'm just giving you some of the mindsets that I see that I think of when I'm trying to really compete and give it my all. And they'll get there. They'll get there, but I don't think they'll prosper. I want to get back to Jokic, man, because Jokic is just an amazing player, man. He's an amazing talent. I mean, you can't stop him. He got the jumper. He can pass. He got the vision. He got the post moves. He's boxing out well. He gets a rebound. He got the fadeaway. I mean, when is it unfair? Like, when is it unfair? He really reminds me of a lot of guys, but he really reminds me of Hakeem Olajuwon. Not because he's got the footwork and the athleticism of Hakeem, but just the way Hakeem was able to impact the game. Aside from the fact that he's not half of the defensive player that Hakeem was, because I definitely feel like Hakeem is the best center of all time. Uh, he's right there. He's right there. But to me, he's the best because he was the best. He was the best, one of the best scorers, and he was definitely the top two defenders in the league as a center for years. He did this for years. For whatever reason, he doesn't get his flowers. He doesn't get his roses. A lot of people don't talk about his career. This man averaged 3 blocks a game for almost his whole career. This man averaged almost three steals a game for almost his whole career. While he was scoring 20 points a night. You know what I mean? And being unstoppable on the block. Shaq couldn't stop him. David Robinson couldn't stop him, I mean. The best centers in the league had no chance against this man, and he wasn't even their size. A lot of people don't talk about how small Hakeem is compared to a lot of these giants. Hakeem actually is around 6'10". He's not 7'1". He's not 7 feet. He's around 6'9", 6'10" with shoes on. And Jokic's just an amazing player, man. An amazing, amazing, amazing player. And I want to give him his credit. So my prediction and my question to you guys is, who do you think is going to win the NBA championship this year? You tell me your comments and your thoughts. Um, I got I got Denver going back to back. That's what I think. I think they'll be back to back world champions of the NBA. It's always weird saying world champions now since that one kid kind of brought it up in the Olympics. Like I gotta think about it. Like, am I saying the right thing? I want to take a second. I want to give some advice to the kids out here today. Um, you guys gotta get the work in, and y'all gotta work hard. Y'all gotta show y'all coaches. You mean business. You know, the only way to get better is to practice hard. Work hard when nobody's looking, and work harder when everybody is looking. Um, you make sure you get stops. You be that person to get a stop. You be that person to cut hard to the basket. You be that person to make sure you get a layup on the fast break. You know, you be first down the floor. You be first back on defense. Like it's little attention to details that when you combine them, they make you an amazing player. Um, and that's kind of what I tried to do when I was younger. I tried to do the things that I knew how to do well. I know that there were spaces in my game where I didn't wasn't as good as other players, but the things that I did well, I tried to maximize on those things. So when you see the ball coming off the rim, you get on the opposite side of that basket, you box out, and you put all your effort in to make sure that happens. That's my advice to you guys. For anybody young watching this, y'all work hard, man. Y'all impress y'all coaches. Y'all let them know y'all meant to be there, that y'all supposed to be there. You let them know that you might not be good as the next guy, but you are. You belong. that you belong. You just make sure everybody knows you belong when you play any sport. But basketball is my passion, so I'm talking to you specifically about basketball. But yeah, just tell me your comments. Tell me your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I appreciate you guys for joining me today. And I have more videos coming soon. I'm gonna get better and better. I kind of regressed a little bit because I stopped making videos for a while. And I want you guys to kind of excuse the fact that, and I don't have the phone in portrait or landscape mode in one way all the time. I'll fix that later, but I wanted to just go ahead and get out some content for right now. So bear with me. Videos get better. I start doing them in my office, and sometimes I do them in my car just to push my thoughts out. You know what I mean? All right, y'all guys hit me up. Thank you.
Well, hopefully, if you've lasted this long, you've been enjoying us and all of the takes about basketball that we've been giving you guys about the NBA and a little college every now and then. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the deepest soul pits of the depths of my heart. Thank you guys for tuning in. Continue to watch, continue to subscribe, continue to share, like, comment, and we'll be here and catch you later. Peace.